And now we will learn how to add and match expenses from the bank feeds section using your QuickBooks Online Phone App. Adding an expense or check is very simple. It saves you time. You just clarify the account for what you paid for, the asset or expense, and you choose the vendor, the person or organization whom you paid. The expense or check will disappear from the review list, and it will be in the In QuickBooks section after you add it to QuickBooks. You can undo and send it back to the review list, but this is only for transactions that you entered with your phone. Anything you entered by logging in online will not appear in the In QuickBooks section list. For example, let's add the June 22 ATM withdrawal of $200 as supplies is the account because that's what we paid for, and Staples is the vendor because that's whom we paid. Then we'll check the review list to make sure that it's gone. Then we'll check the In QuickBooks section to see that everything in that particular bank account that has been added to the QuickBooks records as transactions. So again, let's imagine that the $200 ATM withdrawal on June 22nd from this business checking account was paid to Staples for supplies. So we're going to accept it and clarify it that way. So we make sure we choose the business checking account, because remember we have a choice of two accounts. Choose the business checking account, tap the number of transactions currently in the review list, and you'll get the review list. Now you can see it goes from August back to July, back to June. And it's the June 22nd ATM withdrawal of $200 that we're going to enter into QuickBooks and clarify as we do. So, I went a little too far. Here it is, $200, June 22nd, ATM withdrawal. We're imagining that cash was for supplies and it went to Staples. So we simply tap on it, and QuickBooks gives us a choice of adding, matching, or treating it as a transfer to another bank account. In this case, Add is already selected, and instead of uncategorized expense, we're going to choose the asset. Oops, nope, that's not what we're going to choose. We're going to choose the asset supplies, which is another current asset because that's what we bought. There's no split in this case, but you could split it as long as the total added up to the 200. Now, you should also add the payee, and in this case, we tap for payee, and the payee was Staples. So all you do is put in which expense or asset account, put the vendor, and QuickBooks will keep the date and the amount, and then to finally add the transaction, all you have to do is tap the word accept here at the bottom of the screen. Accept. Okay? And now you can see, because the June 22 is accepted, it is now asking me about the June 21. So let's just go back, and you'll see what it looks like once it's accepted. We tap the back button here, and now you can see the June 22 is no longer on the review list. It goes June 21 and June 30. So then if it's no longer on the review list, then where is it? So we go back and we say, okay, there's 30 of them. Now there's only 29 of them because the one we just took from the review list is now in QuickBooks. And when we tap where it says in QuickBooks, we can see this is one that was just entered into QuickBooks. It's the one we just entered. So in QuickBooks means anything that we accepted from bank feeds that is no longer in the review list that we entered into QuickBooks from our telephone app. And then we can come back to the bank feeds. Now matching a transaction is just as easy. It will just remove the transaction from the review list. You can undo and send it back to the review list. You can tap on the garbage can to exclude from both the review list and QuickBooks completely. That garbage can is in the top right, and I'll show you it later. For example, let's match the $102 from June 14th to check number 67 that has already been recorded in QuickBooks. So here we are back at the review list for business checking, and remember, off camera I recorded a $102 check to Rex Repair for repair expense, and I dated it June 14th, and it was check number 67. So if I tap the review list to get the 29 transactions, I'm going to scroll down to the $102 that we want to match that came from the bank feeds, and I'm going to match it with the check that I already recorded. Aha! Now notice QuickBooks is suggesting the match. And QuickBooks is suggesting the match only because the money amount is the same, not because of the date. Now do not swipe right. Instead, tap on it. If you tap on it, it gives you the ability to either add it, but we don't want to do that because we already recorded it, and we don't want to double count. To make sure we don't double count the review transactions that came in from the feeds, tap match. Now, it assumes that it's matched to Rex Repair for the $102 and that it's check number 67. So if we agree, we can tap, and at the very bottom of the screen we can tap accept. Once we accept, the only thing that really happened was that that transaction was removed from the review list. In fact, we can come back here and we can go to the activity list from home. Let's go to the home screen, and we will go to the activity list, and you can see that 102 was most recently matched. Even though it was entered previously, it's at the top of the activity list because we just matched it in our bank feeds. That means it has been recorded into QuickBooks and it is no longer on the review list.